What did you do as a child to try to impress other children? How successful were you? I army crawled over rocks, very painful, but got everyone's respect. There was a communal bin of Lego in my second grade classroom, and early in the school year I made a scorpion mech that transformed into a spaceship and everyone thought it was super cool. Kept building cool stuff and people thought I was cool for it. Nowadays I keep making models with Lego, but not as many people think I'm cool for it. I used to lie and act like I was some sort of royalty. I actually convinced a few kids over the years that it was true. I remember one girl, her name was Kellyanne. She was a sort of fan of mine for about 3 years and I carried on this fake royalty bit just for her benefit. I sometimes wonder if she knew, but was just pretending to worship me to be nice. Either way, it was quite fun. Did you offer them some part of your Nigerian money though? I didn't really know how to make friends on my first day of primary school, so I started hopping across the tables while the teacher screamed at me to get down. The other kids liked it and always laughed when I did it, but I ended up getting sent back to preschool because they thought I was a problem child. But in the long run it was worth it because I ended up meeting some of the best people a guy could ever ask for. A word. The idea of a 6-year-old saying preschoolers are some of the best people a guy could ever ask for is really funny to me. I saw a dandelion during recess and decided to pick it up and put in my mouth the bottom part so that I'd look like those cowboys who put the wheat things in their mouths. I looked at my friend and said something along the lines of, "I'm a cowboy in a country accent," and he laughed. So at the end of recess, when everyone lined up to get back into class, I decided to do the same exact thing, but this time yell "I'm a cowboy" in front of everyone to get a lot of attention and laughs, but I just ended up getting a bunch of weird looks. 12 years ago I once told someone my house was made out of gold. She still brings it up to this day. I once ate a spider on the playground in 6th grade to impress these cool boys in my class. I threw it up on one of their shoes. It was way less successful than it hoped, and definitely didn't make them think I was cool. Ate an earthworm for merits. I was the coolest kid in the cabin that summer. Sadly not the next though. You have disappointed spiders, Georg. You had a playground in 6th grade? 5th grade was the last time I ever had a recess. Yes, that's so sad. 6th was the end for us. My brother ate a bug when he was 5 because he wanted to become Spider-Man. It wasn't even a spider. I memorized every joke I could find, and everyone wanted to be my friend so I could teach them jokes. Worked like a charm in elementary school. Imitated Pokemon sounds. You can imagine how this went. I used to listen to music really loudly on my portable CD player and headphones while riding the bus. Probably because I wanted people to hear how cool my music was. Went on until a kid sneered at me and sarcastically told me nice music. I have hearing damage now. This is exactly what I was thinking of when I posed this question. I blared my techno on my car speakers when I drove home from school. Not technically a child, but I was very immature as a teenager. Nobody thought I was cool for it. When I was 14 I learned to play the guitar intro to Sweet Child of Mine. I only learned the intro though, so I was cool for about a week, then people stopped caring. My friend and I pretended to speak Spanish to each other. We were both in 3rd grade and white as snow. Showed them my Pog collection. Yes, seriously. I feel old. When I was in kindergarten, there was a girl my friend liked, and I secretly did too, and I told him just go and give her a kiss. He then challenged me to do it myself. When she was about to slide on the slate, I just went there and gave her a kiss on the cheek, saying that's from X. Wish I had the same courage now. Kids can make friends so easily and do other seemingly tough things. It is actually pretty crazy. They literally just do like, "Hey, you like whatever? I do wanna be friends." Yes. Exactly. That is literally how it happens. Wish I had the same courage now. You can do it, man. You just have to confident and go to that playground and start kissing. Then run. I feel this. I hope you learn to just be yourself. I used to choke myself until I turned purple. Fun times. People took it as moderately okay from what I remember. I wanna believe people found it cool, but gods, probably not. I ate a burger. Instead of a patty I put an oatmeal cookie. It tasted good. I used to be really flexible as a kid, so I would bend my legs behind my head without a problem and watch my friends gawk at me in amazement when I would show them. I used to make my mom take pictures of me squatting by random sports cars, so I could take the pictures to school and say that that's my car. It didn't work. 6-year-olds generally don't own cars, apparently. My buddy and I in 6th grade tried to convince kids we were in a new game called Mortal Kombat Jr. with characters designed after us. I once brought an SNES cartridge to school with a label I had made and taped on that said Mortal Kombat Jr. in markers with a poorly drawn dragon logo on it. I was not successful. Just came here to say happy cake day. Once in elementary school I tried to impress a girl by doing a front flip off of a swing while in the air. I was not successful. Instead, I dragged my forehead on the ground and bled a whole lot. I was sent home. I wasn't successful because both of my feet got caught in the chain. Tried to jump over a tennis net. Broke my elbow. Well, I wasn't that attractive kid, but I always wanted for people to see who I am and what I do, so I did the most random stuff like trying to climb a tree but failed etc. I ate weird food that the popular kids made with the leftovers of their lunches. I wasn't poor by any means and had my own lunch to eat. I was new and had no friends in a private school that had like 8 kids in a single class. Looking back on it, maybe not the best way to make friends, because I knew they laughed at me behind my back. Lots of scars from my childhood were from that school. In 2nd grade I used to pretend I was a spy kid. It got to the point where other kids would ask me to train them to be a secret agent. We even made up code names and made spy tests to prove if they were good enough to recruit, which was just determined by whether or not I wanted to play with them. Eventually, twas the downfall of my short-lived popularity, the teacher saw us excluding other kids and we were no longer allowed to play spy kids. Climb the trees in my backyard all the time, and got so far up one time I was scared and cut my knee and had to get help getting down. I ate whatever anyone wanted me to. It made me cool the first few times, then my classmates got bored of it, and I was just that kid who ate everything. BMX bike jumping. Very successful. I was the uncontested neighborhood lunatic. I used to eat pebbles in preschool. I wouldn't just swallow them. I'd chew them. All of the kids were very impressed. One kid tried to imitate me, and he chipped his tooth. Someone in my family had an impressive rock mineral collection. I would bring a rock to school and pretend I found it outside at recess. Kids were astounded and amazed. I did this multiple times. My teacher called me Eagle Eye. I did a dead-on Dr. Evil impression, back when the height of comedy was literally just quoting a popular movie at the time. Then puberty hit, my voice dropped, and I stopped being able to do it. Discovered I could turn my right foot 180 degrees backwards. Got a lot of fun out of that one. Never met anyone who wasn't grossed out by it until one day, years later in college, I tried to bust that one out again. Turns out 3 out of the 5 people in the room could also do it. I wore green eyeshadow and jelly sandals in 2nd grade. I used to lay down on my stomach and bend my back while hands on the floor and cover my eyes with my toes. I was really shy actually, but once someone started talking about being flexible physically, I was like, this is my time to shine. I would impress by hanging upside down on this climbing thingy in our schoolyard. Not only hanging, I'd swing rapidly back and forth while I crossed my arms. Look at me, I'm only hanging by my feet. I was pretty cool until I one day slipped and faceplanted. Class clown behavior for sure. Developed into a bad habit of not being able to pay attention in class. Also, I thought it impressed girls to be tough and half fight wrestle punch other guys when they were around. Spoiler alert, it does not. I got myself as high as I could on a swing set and then jumped, going far enough to start rolling down the hill. I was not successful. I attempted it a second time on a lighter swing, got higher, broke my arm. Still not successful. I was at the park. I wanted to be dank and impress my little brother. I jumped off the swing, flew about 3.2 meters in the air, then fell. I twisted my ankle and my knees. I sat on the floor waiting for the pain to die out. So fail. I also heard some people laughing at me. I wrote a fake love letter to the most obnoxious boy in class back in the 6th grade. All of the girls thought he was annoying. I got one of the girls to help me, and when we were talking about it in the girls' bathroom during a break, a lot of girls got interested in it and were happy I was doing this. I was always the quiet, angry, and overly serious kid, and this plan made me really happy. It was probably the first time any of my classmates saw me smile. When I moved across country, I didn't want to be bullied again, so ended up bullying a kid everyone else picked on. I was friends with him at the start and even had a crush on him, but everything everyone said about he and me made me switch over. I was not very successful, just ended up with a guilty conscience. Jump off the swings as high as I could, it depended who was watching. I tried to impress my kindergarten classmates with my skills on the monkey bars. I ended up with 2 broken wrists. One time in first grade I was on top of the jungle gym during recess and the teacher called out that recess was over. I thought to myself, toothless canal, this is a perfect time to be just like the TMNT or the Power Rangers and jump on the fire pole and slide down to the ground with the entire class yelling, "Go toothless Dovahkiin." My plan to get their attention worked, just not the way I wanted it to. I tripped while I jumped to catch the fire pole and did a nosedive and I broke my left wrist. Everyone paid attention to me when I started screaming in pain. Just gotta be careful what you wish for. I spouted a lot of obscure and random facts, thinking it was cool. Instead became the weird nerd. I lied about getting Pokemon games that weren't out yet. I was surprisingly successful. I was the fastest at school, so I dared my classmates to play a game of tag and try to catch me. This happened every morning, a couple minutes before lesson. It soon became a school-wide competition with almost every kid trying to catch me. I got caught a couple times, but most of the times I managed to dodge and escape lots of kids at the same time before the bell rang. I guess I was pretty successful since I was the most loved kid by every girl in the school, but I was 10, so I didn't really care about girls that much. Told edgy jokes, worked, and I got a sense of humor. Acted like a gangster and talking with bad grammar. It went well with the younger kids, but not with kids, lol. In elementary school around 5th grade I discovered that I could jump really high, so I would hurdle over my friends, tables, and water fountains. Always tried to do a front flip from the diving board. Always had my little sister tell people to watch. 90% of the time I belly flopped hard, unsuccessful in impressing anyone. My daughter met an older girl once, so started doing push-ups to impress her. She was 4. She is 9 now, and all her best friends are miniature Valkyries and sport jocks, or sensitive boys, and she is a giant nerd. I used to tell people I lived on a farm and had horses. I didn't live on a farm. I had never wanted to live on a farm. In fact, I think I also hated horses at the time. Every girl in my grade 2nd back then loved horses, so I thought that this would get me some friends. When it didn't, I thought it was because I wasn't lying well enough. As a result, in the 3rd grade I decided that I would really sell them on the idea when one day in class, my teacher for some reason said something along the lines of, "It's like picking up horse poo. Nobody wants to do that," and I laughed and decided to respond with, "I do. I don't have any other choice. I have horses." I never got any friends after that until I was out of elementary. Hurt other kids. I had ADHD, don't judge. I was fast at running. At the time I think it worked, but looking back at it, it was really dumb. I could jump off the swing and fly at least 20 feet. I got detention. I made pretty much all my friends from 4th and 5th grade from my ability to stare someone cold dead in the eye with a dead, emotionless face without laughing. I would memorize Eminem's freestyles, then spit them back to kids, and pretend they were my lyrics, lol. I bragged about my flexible glasses by folding them. I ended up breaking them. Swallow my tongue, it still grosses out people today. I had a crush in elementary school, so for some reason, my little kid brain thought the only way she'll notice you is if you act weird. So I acted weird around her until about 5th grade. I wasn't successful. We don't really see each other or talk much anymore. I was an idiot in elementary school. I did a backflip of the slide as a bet and to make money and impress. I broke me elbow upon landing. I didn't know how to do a backflip at the time. In kindergarten I locked my bus driver out of the bus while we were in the school parking lot waiting for the buses to be dismissed. I had seen others do it, and I thought it was like a rite of passage. My bus driver was not happy and definitely let me know it. I'm not sure if I impressed anyone else on the bus, but I do think they felt bad for me lol. I would eat anything inedible that anyone gave me and somehow avoided a trip to the hospital. Lift and carry people. I was a big wrestling fan in my childhood, and I was pretty capable of carrying more than one person on my back. My record was 4 in somewhere around the end of primary school, and I could lift one person with my hands from the ground all the way up. Granted, they're my same age. I still love doing that today, but I barely do it, and when I do, it's only to very close people. I've heard my force when carrying makes people nauseous. Also, I introduced English cusses to the whole town in 4th grade. I would actually stand behind a school building holding a lit cigarette as close as I could to myself so as to smell like I had been smoking before I went to school. It granted me cool points with my target demographic. It was a really awkward conversation when I finally explained to them that the reason they never saw me smoke was because I did not ever smoke at all. Webkins were huge in elementary school. The more you had, the more people seemed to like you. I found a store that sold them for cheap. Usually Webkins were like $20 each, but I got them for 10. I remember I had like 50 of them, and most were named after characters from Supernatural. My classmates were more impressed that my parents allowed me to watch Supernatural